Thank you.
Yay.
Well, thank you so much for coming. It's such a pleasure to be able to finally share this book where in a form that's actually printed instead of printed out on the resident copy machine. So I really appreciate that, that you're here and that I can share it with you. I will tell you just a little bit by way of background that a lot of it is based on reporting that I did when I was overseas. Although the characters are all fictional with one exception. There's a historical character. But although it's fiction, all of the premise, all of the science is plausible or something very much like it has actually happened in the real world. So it's set partly in Ethiopia. It opens in Ethiopia. And then there's much of it is set in Washington, D.C. And there are some cameo appearances in Turkmenistan and Dubai and Bangkok. So it's a bit of a jaunt. And so I will just start with the beginning. I will read, and then maybe you'll have some questions afterwards. Prologue, Washington, D.C., 2004. The grandfather clock had already struck 12 when Robert slipped into bed next to Sydney. She grumbled in irritation, half asleep. He said nothing, thankful for her sleep and the darkness. He was unprepared to speak aloud of what he had seen tonight in the lab. If the results of his initial viral screenings were accurate, he had performed the screening twice, disbelieving the initial data. They signaled the discovery of his career. The plant samples that Stefano Giotti had so intriguingly sent Robert from his latest expedition in Ethiopia seemed to harbor something no one else had yet found. In Robert's lab, the compounds from the Ethiopian leaves had battled against one of the modern world's most insidious diseases, HIV, and won. A drug based on the Ethiopian compounds could mean husbands could stay with their wives, mothers could live to care for their children, babies born with the disease could grow up and grow old before they died. Millions of people would take a step back from the brink of death. It was too early to say. He knew that. There would be a host of other tests, different viral strains, toxicology tests, animal testing, before the human trials could even begin. There would be articles to publish, papers to defend at conferences, funding to justify. Isolating, synthesizing, testing, standardizing, and transforming the natural compound into a useful drug would take years of work. But for tonight, he let his thoughts wander through the possibilities, knowing the plant in his lab would be waiting tomorrow, ready to seduce him again with its potential.